Bang. Okay. Um,
Sick.
yeah. So today, doing a little something different. No album review. Today we're talking about Kanye West. Why are we talking about Kanye West? Well, we both love Kanye. Honestly, Tate probably a little more than me. But, I was listening to a lot of Kanye lately. Huge discography, so I was just digging in. And, of course, wanted Tate's opinions. And so we kind of naturally reached the idea of ranking Kanye's best songs. And we initially tried to do a top 10. Realized that Kanye has way too many good songs for that to be possible. And
that was absolutely impossible.
Yeah, no, I don't think it would have been possible because I was like, okay, like I'll list out all the songs that I like, or that I think are worthy of being in that top, and I listed like 35 songs. So I had
I
like,
did the exact same thing.
Yeah. I was like, this is not gonna work. So, anyways, settled on a top 15 songs by Kanye West. And so that's what we're gonna be discussing today. And so we'll kind of work through in descending order. We'll start with 15, 14, etc. And we'll make our way down the list. And, maybe we'll make some new friends along the way. So, yeah.
All right. Or enemies.
Probably. Or enemies. Yeah, probably that. I'm convinced that we'll hate each other's list. That's what I texted Tate before we started. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Tate, do you wanna start with your pick at number 15?
Okay, at number 15 for me is Gorgeous.
Okay, I like that. I like that pick. That's a good pick.
Have you listened to Gorgeous lately or recently?
I have. That is one of my favorite Kanye songs, actually. And it is on my list. It is a little higher, but it is definitely on my list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I like the pick there. Yeah, okay, I'm glad.
Yeah, I always come back to that one for My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I don't know if it's. I guess I have other. Yeah, I have other Kanye songs from that album that like rank higher, but I probably come back to that one the most, even though the others rank higher.
Yeah,
just for the verses, I feel like it's so good.
I agree, and I think the Kid Cudi feature on that is also top tier.
Yeah, that's true too.
So good.
That last verse is just
nuts. Yeah. I mean, that to me that whole album is a classic, top to bottom. There are very few tracks I mean, there's no tracks I dislike on it really. I know you have controversial opinions on it, so we can skip over that.
Yeah, I mean, I like I still really like it. It's one of my favorite Kanye albums, but it's not. Yeah. I don't think it's the best.
I don't think it's the magnum opus that everyone seems to make it. All right. I mean,
but this song is very good.
Right.
What's your top? Or not top? What's your 15?
So my 15 is a song off the same album. It is Monster.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Did that make your list? I really doubt it did.
Monster did not make my list. I'm not a huge fan of Monster, or what's the song that comes after it? Oh god, that's gonna bug me.
All the Lights.
It also has like a ton of features. No, that's like both of those songs are right after All of the Lights.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, but I don't know. I totally understand the appeal of them because they're like there's so many different features and like everyone like nails it. I guess for that reason, it doesn't like really feel like much of like a Kanye song to me. I guess because like there's so many other artists on it. I really like that song just for Nicki Minaj. Like I feel like that's like the best verse I've ever heard from her.
That's the crown jewel of her career, really, and it was so early in her career as well, which is what's great. Yeah. No, I mean that verse is incredible. And then I really like Jay-Z's verse as well. I mean, Jay-Z's gonna do his thing, talk about how rich he is and how awesome he is, and that, honestly, I eat that shit up. So can't really go wrong with that for me. So yeah. So that was my 15. I'll get into my 14, which I think it might be a little spicy for you.
What is it?
Is Flashing Lights.
Oh, okay, that's on my list.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Entire
On
my list.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, just the production here is what really gets it for me.
Yeah.
And we talked about this kind of thing where, in like our Savage Mode review, where it's just like the title and then the song and how they just like fit perfectly together. This is that
right.
where it's like, okay, flashing lights, and then you hear like the first couple seconds of the song, you're like, oh, this is gonna be sick. So that was.
I feel like it's just one of like Kanye's most recognizable songs,
Yeah.
and like you still hear it today, even though like there's some parts of Graduation that sound a little bit like too of the time, I guess, like they sound like too much like electronic music, I guess. I don't know. But that song I think stands out and like is one of a few of the songs on Graduation that like holds up to today, definitely. And the whole album holds up, but I guess I mean like beyond just the sound of Graduation.
No, I agree. It's a very very modern sound. I feel like it's almost timeless. Like I don't think it would sound dated at all in like 5 years. Who knows? But yeah. So that's my 14. What's yours?
My 14 is "Touch the Sky" from Late Registration. Yeah.
Yep.
I was trying to think because like on the first half of Late Registration, there's like a lot of good songs. What's the opening track? Heard Him Say, and then Gold Digger, of course.
Yep.
And like Gold Digger, you still hear like everywhere. I feel like that's probably Kanye's like one of his most recognizable songs,
Yeah.
But and while it's like a great song, it's like a little bit too funny for me, I guess, to like to appreciate
take
it so
seriously,
much.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but Touch the Sky, I think is it's fun and just a solid song.
Yeah, that is.
I also like. Oh, sorry.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say that's definitely one of my favorite songs, and it is on my list. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna point out one of my favorite lines, or I guess few lines, is Jay's favorite line, "Dog, in due time. Now he look at me like, damn dog, you where I am, a hip hop legend. I think I died in that accent because this must be heaven."
Yeah.
I feel like just on two levels that is a really like cool set of lines because one, it's like the classic Kanye like just celebrating like life and his life and himself, like he's like I am a hip hop legend and this is heaven that I'm like living in, which like a lot of his music is very much like just it feels like a party that you're listening to. But then the other half of it that I really like is there's like so much Kanye lore, I feel like, that you can like get into. And this like references so much of it, like just in that, like one, knowing who Jay-Z is to Kanye, that he's like his mentor. And also knowing about the accident that Kanye West like got into early on in his career that like he sings about on Through the Wire. Like, the fact that he said like in that accident rather than like in an accident.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just like ties in a lot, and I appreciate that also about Kanye's music, that like he's always bringing back like some lore that like makes it fun to like constantly listen to his music.
Yeah, and I mean that's I mean we talked about this, but like that's what makes Kanye so interesting to me, is just like there's so much context behind everything that he puts out, and and it's great at face value, but when you take that into account, for me it makes it even better. So, but yeah, great pick. Okay, cool.
I guess should I go with my 13?
Yeah, please.
Okay. This is probably an odd one. I don't know that it would make many people's top 15, but my 13 is "Follow God" from Jesus is King.
Wow. Okay.
Which both, I mean, Ye and Jesus is King, you see very often listed as like the last two or like worst Kanye albums, and like I would agree with that. But that said, like there are definitely some standout songs from both albums, and I think Follow God is one of them. And I just feel like his writing on this song is like really top notch. Like it can be interpreted as like him, like he keeps saying like arguing with my dad in the song, but like I think it could be interpreted as like arguing with like the father, as in like God, and like his struggle with just becoming religious, which like I know like that whole side of Kanye isn't really for everyone, and like especially he brings it to like a very intense edge, and like sometimes to an edge that like isn't very relatable, of like, oh, I'm this like huge hip hop star who like everyone's like persecuting me for like being Christian, which like that's just not true. I don't know. But like I think the more timeless and relatable aspect of just, you know, struggling with like, is there a God, or like what is the meaning of a God, if there is a God, and things like that is encapsulated in the song. And I just feel like it's a solid song for that reason. Also, it's just like, of like the songs on Jesus is King, I feel like it's just a standout of like, okay, this is one of the most exciting songs from the album.
Yeah, I remember I listened through that album. I listened through it once, and the only song I come back to is Follow God. It is a great song. I do like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't looked too much into it or read into the lyrics too much, so I'll have to do that sometime. But yeah, no, that definitely sounds about right. So, okay, my 13 is Gorgeous, which we already talked about.
Nice.
You know, definitely one of my favorite songs. And then number 12, back to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, is So Appalled.
Okay. Oh, wait, So Appalled. That's the other one.
That was the one. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can really explain why I like this song, but it is, I don't know, it's so like haunting, and it just like keeps you so engaged the whole time. And then Kanye's got so many like interesting one-liners, which I think are really cool. Like, I'm so appalled, Spalding bald, like Donald Trump taking dollars from y'all. Like, it's just like, it's
that line is funny too, like in retrospect.
Yeah.
I
was like, balding Donald Trump taking dollars from y'all. I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, it is a great song. And the features on it are also extremely impressive. So there's a lot of guys on this song. So it's Kanye, Jay-Z, Pusha T, Sci-Hi the Prince, Swiss Beats, and you know, I think all of them do an incredible job. And there's a really interesting story about Sci-Hi the Prince's verse on this song, which I think is, maybe I wouldn't say the best, but I would say, you know, one of the better verses on the song. Is that, you know, he was initially, you know, he was helping out with the production, and then while everyone was out of the room, he recorded a verse and put it on the song and played it for Kanye, and Kanye was like, that's sick, let's leave it in. And so like, I think that's cool. Again, you know, the lore of Kanye.
Yeah,
you know?
That's cool. I didn't know that. That also, like, I feel like fits Kanye's vibe, you know, of like just pushing yourself and being like I know I'm worth it, you know, so like I'm just gonna do my thing and show it to everyone, and then they're gonna believe it. That's pretty cool. Also, it makes sense that like if you like Monster, then you're probably gonna like So Appalled too.
Yeah.
And of the two tracks, I think I like So Appalled better, and I think Haunting is like a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
I feel like that sample, like. Kind of just gets like stuck in your head easily, and like it's just like such a long song. It like feels like epic in some way, you know.
Oh yeah, but for sure. Yeah, no, it is. I don't know. It just keeps you in it the whole time, and that's what I really really appreciate about it. But yeah, okay. Go ahead. Or is
All
that
right.
still? Yeah.
Well, for as much as I say I don't like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy as much as everyone else, it's like everywhere on my list. But I think it's just I don't like songs like Monster and like So Appalled as much as
Yeah.
everybody else.
Fair.
But my number 12 is Runaway.
Okay.
Which like I feel like a lot of people would rank that maybe as like their number one.
Yeah.
Just because like his writing on this song is also really good. Like he structures it in a way that I forget what kind of plays it is. Honestly, I guess I shouldn't go into it. But if you read the Genius notes on it, there's like a structure to it of like the story of like basically a like fallen hero who like realizes that they're like that they have flaws.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the like storyline that the song follows, and also just like the chorus of it, the piano part that like repeats, and the ending that's like all vocalization is just it's all really cool and like memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, this song obviously made my list as well. And honestly, I think, I mean, for all the reasons you mentioned, but also I think the Pusha T feature was also really good.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Actually, originally when I listened to it, I wasn't a huge fan of his verse because like I don't know, I listened to it and I was like it felt almost like unrelated to the song, but now I would disagree with that. I think it's definitely tied into the song and like the rest of the album as well. But
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I first listened to this, I mean, really this album or this song, I mean, it came out in 2010. I was 12, and I listened to this song. And you know, there's like the little part where it's like, oh, like have a toast for the douchebags, have a toast for the assholes, and I was like, it's like what? Like what? I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I feel like now that I've gotten older, I feel like the song is a little more interesting to me. Obviously, but I don't know. I think again, this comes back to the context of this whole album, like coming out after that whole VMA Taylor Swift, whatever the hell that was, and you know, him being branded an asshole by pretty much everyone,
Right.
and then being able to like come onto this song and just kind of own it was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. It was just a really cool song for me. So yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Definitely.
We both cheated a little bit by allowing for like ties, I guess, kind of, but like with songs that are just features, not really Kanye songs. And for me, in my number 12 spot, I think you could interchange it with a completely different song, American Boy by Estelle.
Yeah.
I really love that song. I mean, obviously, it's just like a pop hit, you know. But I feel like every time it's like someone hears it, like it's just like a fun song that like people enjoy listening to, and it's also just like another like well-crafted song, and it like, you know, there's some like I guess American pride to it in like the amount of like different American things that are mentioned. And I like the back and forth between Estelle and Kanye, and all of the parts that all the verses from Estelle too. Yeah, that's a great song. So that's my other number 12. But
yeah, no, I really like that verse actually. I think just the way he like swings from line to line is really cool. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but kind of the melody he holds through his verse is really cool. And it is super fun song. I love listening to it. So
yeah,
awesome. Okay, so then that was number 11.
That was 12.
That was 12. Okay. So yeah. So then go ahead and go through your 11.
Sure. Okay, so my number 11 is Hey Mama.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that song a lot. It's definitely one of Kanye's better like songwriting moments. And also just like I feel like if you gave that song to someone and didn't explain who Kanye was, they
Oh
would
yeah.
get like such a different understanding of who Kanye is. But it's funny because it still like plays into who he is too. Like he's very unashamed of like being whatever it is about himself, you know, whether it's like being an asshole, like he says on Runaway, you know.
Yeah.
It's also like being a mama's boy, you know, and
Yeah.
like my favorite line from that song is "Can't you see you're like a book of poetry, Maya Angelou, Nikki Giovanni, turn one page and there's my mommy."
Yeah.
Like thinking about like a rapper singing "mommy" in
Yeah.
like a rap song is like kind of a wild thing, and he makes it work and like just owns it, you know. Um, the I was thinking of, so we had been talking about this song before we got on, but I also really like the song Only One. I feel like that could be like swapped out potentially for Hey Mama, but Hey Mama's a more fun song, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean that is also that song like barely missed the cut for me on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. There's honestly there's no other Kanye song like it to me.
Yeah.
He's just I don't know. He's just so open and just talking,
Yeah.
and I really like that.
Yeah. It's also interesting listening to it. Obviously, like Chance the Rapper is like somewhat inspired by Kanye.
Mhm.
And like listening to that song, I feel like it almost feels like a Chance the Rapper song. There's
Yeah.
parts where like some of the vocalizations that he like sings like sound like something Chance would do.
Oh yeah.
Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
the little like little ad libs and little things around the court. Yeah, no, I totally get it. Yeah, I mean that would have come out right as Chance was probably like a teenager, and so
right, right.
natural for that to influence him. But okay, cool.
What's your
My
number 11?
my 11 is I actually didn't realize how much of this is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, but it is Power. Um,
Okay, right.
I feel like I don't have to say a ton about Power, but
Yeah.
I
That's on
mean,
my list too.
yeah, it's just Kanye talking his shit, which I really
I feel
like.
like that song is like if you showed that song to someone and they didn't like it, then they're just not gonna like Kanye.
Yeah, honestly,
I feel like it's like
it
the
is an
best.
encapsulation of
Yeah,
exactly who Kanye is.
right. And like
And
his energy and the type of music that he makes, like very intense, somewhat like rock influenced at times. Um, yeah,
yeah, yeah, and then he references like SNL and again the whole thing that happened with Taylor Swift, which is pretty cool. And he's just just bars, to be honest. He's just so aggressive and in your face, and that's the
yeah,
whole point.
yeah,
And I don't know. Again, I mean, really, this album is all about the context for me. So that's why I like it so much. But again, being written off by so many people, um, you know, feeling like he wasn't loved as he previously was, because he was, I mean, the biggest music star in the world probably at
right,
that point.
yeah,
So to kind of go from that to being universally hated almost, and then coming out with this kind of song,
yeah,
basically just a massive fuck you to
yeah,
everyone,
yeah.
is awesome. So
One of the lines that I noted for that song, I was reading the Genius lyrics for it earlier. Um, it's "How yay doing? I'm surviving. I was drinking earlier, now I'm driving." And like I think when I first listened to it, or like when anyone listens to it at face value, it just sounds like, "Oh, I'm drunk driving" or something. But
yeah.
like someone else interpreted it as um, like he was drinking before, he was being reckless and like partying, and
Hmm.
now he's like driving, he's taking control of his life or something, which
Yeah.
is like an interesting way to put it. Maybe not accurate, but like, um, I don't know. Yeah, something about it just like fits with Kanye.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I think my favorite lines, which I noted here, were and it's a pretty decent chunk here, but my childlike creativity, purity, and honesty is honestly being crowded by these grown thoughts. Reality is catching up with me, taking my inner child. I'm fighting for custody with these responsibilities that they entrusted me. As I look down at my diamond encrusted piece, I'm like, dude, I mean,
Yeah, no,
okay.
that's
That's
great
awesome.
too.
Yeah.
I feel like also Kanye, like throughout his music, like one of the things that he appreciates a lot is like childlike creativity, and like that's something that he brings up a lot in his music, and yeah, that's like one of the lines that shows that.
Yeah, and it's just something that's, I mean, it's relatable for all of us. I mean, he's talking about like, reality catching up with me. My, childlike innocence is being overrun by like these thoughts of, whatever it is, like anxiety, depression, whatever. And whatever else other responsibilities he has, and that's something we could probably all relate to. So, but yeah. So that was my 11. I'll get into my 10 now, which is Hold My Liquor.
Nice.
Kanye, Chief Keef. Yeah, I mean, I love Yeezus as an album, and this is one of the standouts on that for sure. The Chief Keef feature I think is awesome. I think he does a really good job. I thought one thing I thought was interesting about like his verse, especially at the beginning, as like just the way he's delivering his lines, it like sounds like he's drunk, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. So, that's something I can appreciate. Just keeping the artistic integrity of the song, or whatever you want to call it. I have no idea, but I mean, the Yeezus for me is all about the production, and this song is, I don't know how else to describe it other than awesome.
No, it's true.
So,
I'm realizing now I don't have any Yeezus on my top 15.
Okay.
But if I did, I think Hold My Liquor would have made the list. And yeah, I totally agree with all that. I also like, he's like, Kanye's not afraid to like, I don't know, work with any kind of artist as long as they're like great at what they do. And he works with Bon Iver on the song too, and he also like has those parts on the song. And then I think it's Mike Dean who does the guitar solo at the end, which is like, it's like pretty trippy sounding, and it just fits the vibe of the song a lot. And like Kanye's verse is also like really great and erratic, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And then I mean again, this whole song is just him owning that he's an asshole, which is, I mean, it's refreshing in a way. He's just like, yeah, it is what it is.
I prefer that side of Kanye usually to the, like, for example, although actually I don't know, I almost put On Site on my list, and I feel like there he's just being an asshole rather than owning it, but
that's fair.
I guess I sometimes appreciate that energy too, but
my favorite line, and we talked about it right before this, but when I parked my Range Rover, slightly scratched your Corolla. And next line, okay, I smashed your Corolla. It's just funny. But anyways, all right. Tate, go ahead with your number 10.
My number 10. My number 10 is Father Stretch My Hands Part 1.
Classic.
Yeah. Nice. I feel like that song is just like, I know you're not a huge fan of The Life of Pablo, but like I feel like there's a lot of songs, this one included, on The Life of Pablo that like just kind of reinvigorated Kanye's popularity as like an artist. Like I feel like when you go out to like bars or clubs, you'll hear early Kanye songs like Gold Digger or something, but then you'll hear a song like this, Father Stretch My Hands. And like even for as like weird of a song as it is, like the whole verse is like, obviously there's the bleached asshole line.
That's a fire line.
No, I also appreciate it. I feel like it's very true to like kind of the character that he's like building up of like the whole album is about like, am I a family man or am I like a guy who's like going out and partying and just like picking up people at like clubs, you know? And like it feels like something someone would say if they're someone who like just parties and that's like their whole persona, you know?
Yeah.
But then also like the chorus of like I just want to feel liberated. If I ever instigated, I'm sorry. Like I don't know, things like that. That's just like very like I don't know, generally things that people can associate with. And like the production is just nuts. Like the sample
Yeah.
into the bass drop and like I don't know, that whole like first like minute of the song is just nuts.
Yeah, I mean, to be entirely honest, I don't know if this song would have been as popular without like what Metro Boomin added to this song.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that,
Yeah,
I mean, that,
he definitely did a great job with that.
yeah, and obviously there were multiple producers. Mike Dean is listed, Kanye's listed, Rick Rubin, and these are all, I mean, legendary
Yeah,
guys. But
right.
I mean, that drop,
Yeah.
is unparalleled, to
Yeah.
be honest. I mean, there's really nothing like it.
Yeah.
And
But
it,
it's
it
funny,
is
like
an iconic moment.
it people which like maybe is unfortunate for Metro Boomin, but like sometimes people will hear a song with a Metro Boomin tag and be like, oh, I know this song. It's like
Yeah,
Beautiful Morning or whatever. It's like,
yeah,
oh no, that's a different song.
yeah. I mean, again, my love for Metro Boomin is well documented, so I won't go into it. But yeah, I lost it when I first heard that. So um,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, cool, nice. Your 9.
My number 9. My number 9 is Can't Tell Me Nothing.
Interesting.
I feel like that's just like a classic hip hop song and
Yeah.
like memorable from like the first line. Yeah, just through and through a good song.
Yeah, that first line is pretty crazy. I mean, I'm gonna forget it off the top, but I remember I heard the first of all the beat and I guess the sample that he uses just like sticks in your ear.
I don't even think it's a sample. I
Isn't
think he like
nice?
it's an original that like wait till I get my money right. Like I think that's just
I
that's
mean,
which is like I don't know. It's just so memorable. And
yeah,
then the like opening lines of his verse too are like very like I don't know, memorable. Like I had a dream I could buy my way to heaven.
yeah,
When I awoke, I spent that on a necklace.
yes.
And I told God I'd be back in a second. Man, it's so hard not to
That's
act reckless.
yeah,
I feel like that's also very like true to him. Like it reminds me of off his new album, off Donda on New Again. Like the line, I repent for everything I'm gonna do again. Like that just reminds me of like I told God I'd be back in a second. Like
yeah,
I don't know. It's like aware of like not really being that great of a Christian, I guess,
yeah.
if that's what he associates with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember. I remember one of the lines that stuck out to me when I listened to the song. It was I feel the pressure under more scrutiny, and
Yeah.
what I do
I
act
do
more
act more
stupidly. I was like,
stupidly.
that's very, very timely line considering what happened after that, and honestly before that.
True.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
just
and I think he also says that's the one where it's like, uh, I'm talking on TV like it's just you and me. Like I feel like that too is just like whenever he talks on TV, it's like
yeah.
probably he
Yeah.
probably shouldn't have said whatever he said
Oh yeah,
most of the
100%.
time.
I mean, again, iconic moments in pop culture history. One, Kanye at the VMAs. Two, Kanye sang on national television during a national tragedy that does not care about black people. That's insane. That's sick. So, yeah, okay. Yeah.
What's your number 9?
My number 9 is Ultralight Beam.
Nice.
Again, I don't think I have to say too much about that. Just a good song.
Yeah.
And for me, there's like, I don't know. I listen to a lot of music and I listen to a lot of like similar sounding stuff a lot of the time, and so like there's certain things I come back to as palate cleansers almost, and this is one of those songs. In addition to like Frank Ocean's entire discography, but that's besides the point. This song is just like resets my head in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just such a, I don't know, it's a pure song and it sounds great.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's not much else to say about it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a really good song. I feel like everyone kills it on the song too. It's actually not on my list, but you know that I love The Life of Pablo. It's one of my favorite Kanye albums, and like it's just like a great opening track. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think that was, I mean, to be honest, I think that's that's why I didn't like Life of Pablo as much as I probably should have, because my expectations were so high when I heard the first two songs.
Yeah.
And then for me, it just kind of like fell off at that point. And then I heard Father Stretch My Hand Part 2, and I was a little sad, to be honest. I remember when I first heard that song, I was like, oh, this is really good. And then I kept listening to it. I was like, oh, I don't think I like this. But yeah, so
great. I feel like, to be fair, like the album's better as like just one cohesive like listen, I guess, which is funny because like he's referred to it as a playlist, and like it feels so erratic, almost like the same with Donda. It feels like you shouldn't be listening to it in the order that it's in, but I feel like that actually really works with The Life of Pablo, because it's like all about the back and forth of like being like one way being like wholesome and like not being wholesome, and like flipping between those, and like it really like flips you all around. But like listening to just the snippet of it like out of context can be really jarring, and like I think Part 2 is a good I don't know, example of that. So it makes sense why you wouldn't like that on more and more listens to it alone.
Yeah, and then again, I mean, like you mentioned, everyone did a great job on it. The Dream on the little chorus, I guess, fantastic. And then Chance, one of the best verses he's had. To just, I don't know, just a great song all around. But yeah, so that was my 9. I think all you now. Oh, actually, real quick, one more thing. I had a Kanye feature that was interchangeable with this song as well, which was Don't Like, Kanye's verse on that. And first of all, I love that song. One of my favorite songs ever. And I will, I'll listen to it before like basketball games, whatever, just to get in the mood, right? But I mean, it really is a. I keep saying the word iconic, but it is an iconic song. I feel like if you played that song, most people would recognize it.
Yeah, I definitely like that song. Just reminds me of like high school, and like so many people used to like play it all the time.
Yeah, and there's so many like one-liners in this verse that I love. They steal your whole sound. That's a sound bite. Okay, it's kind of corny, to be honest, but like I was like, I was 12 when I heard it. I was like, oh, this is great. The media crucify me like they did Christ. Okay, awesome. They want to find me not breathing like they found Mike, which is a reference to Michael Jackson's dying. He says, I was in too deep like Mekhi Phifer. There's a Mekhi Phifer who was in the movie called In Too Deep. I mean, we hanging out the window. It's about to be a shook night. Like, this is sick. This is sick. It's just like, a fun verse. It's a fun song. And yeah, I don't know. Hold a special place for me.
Nice.
But, yeah. All right, go ahead.
I think actually you're up with number 8.
Oh, I know.
That was your number 9, right?
Yes, that was. Number 8 was Runaway, which we've talked about.
Nice.
But yeah, just a great song.
Cool. Yeah, we're gonna start overlapping probably. But
oh yeah, definitely.
My number 8 was Heartless.
Oh, see, okay. I honestly didn't think that would make it anywhere near this list for you.
Really? Why not?
I don't know. That was my feeling. But okay.
It
didn't make my list, which it barely missed for me. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I really like Heartless. It's a classic, just like a classic song. I feel like it also is a testament to his like songwriting ability. Like,
Mm.
I think people will discredit rap sometimes because, sometimes there's like throwaway lines or like things that are just funny or like out of context to the rest of an album or something. They don't really make sense or they're kind of hard to understand. But Heartless is a good like just contained front to back song that like I feel like is just like almost like a classic song, like it reminds me of like it reminds me of like an old country song or something. And I think I've even seen him describe it as that in like a in an interview. Um, there's just like a repeatable chorus and like the verses like back everything up, and it's just really good front to back. And yeah.
Yeah, that was actually the very first Kanye song I ever heard.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, again, one
That's
of my
funny.
favorites for sure. But yeah,
It's
that was the very
interesting to
first one.
know, like, because I think not I think there definitely was a generation of fans of Kanye before us who, like, were fans of his first three albums and then
Oh yeah.
hated his fourth.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's funny to think that, like, we perhaps grew up at a time where it's like, okay, the first songs we heard were off 808s.
Yeah. Well, I think that song also was like that was what really made him super popular because there was so much like crossover appeal into like
Yeah,
pop,
that's true.
you know.
There was all that crossover
So it
appeal.
was extremely popular. So yeah. Um, I mean, just a fun song to listen to.
Yeah.
And yeah, and he's like just yeah. I don't want to get too into it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess to get into my number 7, this is another one that I don't think this one's as contentious as my number 13, but like along the same lines of it's off of a not great Kanye album, Ghost Town.
Mm,
Um, I think it's a really great song. I've also heard that Kanye said it's like one of his favorite songs that he's written.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it's a really fun song and just a memorable one. And uh, just like plays into kind of this new era of Kanye, I guess, of like wanting to be free and like wanting to uh, make a new path for himself that is like different and like I don't know, holier, I guess. I don't know.
Mm,
Something about it. It captures everything that he's trying to do, I think, to the best that he has in a while.
yeah. And yeah, I think this is definitely for me the standout song
Oh yeah,
on this
absolutely. By
album.
far. By far.
Yeah. Honestly, I like this. I like this song, and I like Violent Crimes off that album, and that's kind of it. Everything else is
Yeah.
is I don't know. It's just not for me.
Yeah. I'm okay with Yikes, but like
Yikes is okay. Yeah.
it's okay is the thing. But everything else to me is like just okay. That's the problem with the album.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and then I was very surprised by a Party Next Door appearance. That was a weird
Yeah.
collab for me, and they're on 2 songs together here.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that album. I don't
That
know.
was all I knew by Party Next Door before you showed
Oh
me
yeah.
that album.
Yeah, I was that surprised me a lot. I guess, maybe the Drake connection at that time was how that ended up happening, but
Hmm.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I like the pick. That's a good song. Um, okay. I'll get into my 7 now,
Cool.
which is Touch the Sky, which we talked
Okay.
about.
Nice.
Very fun song.
Yeah.
Just an easy listen. I've never gotten tired of it. I've listened to it so much. The horns are awesome.
Have you
And
ever listened to that original song? I forget the name of it, but it's by what's the guy? Oh, this is gonna really bug me. This he wrote Superfly. He he's like a really great soul artist from like the late 60s, early 70s.
that's way out of my wheelhouse. Not, but yeah, I don't know off the top.
Yeah, I'd have to look. But
Uh,
I want to say
Curtis Mayfield.
yes. I was gonna say
Yes.
Chris
Okay.
Mayfield. Yeah, you should listen to the original song. It's good.
Yeah.
And also like just like that era of Kanye, I feel like really shows you how much of like a student of music he is, like how much he really just appreciates music.
Yeah.
I remember I was at like a restaurant with my family once, and like my dad like started like singing along to the original Curtis Mayfield song. It's like, oh, like something that Kanye does is like really bridges the gap between like old music and new music, and like introduces a new generation to really great old music, you know?
Yes, 100%. I agree. And I think another thing I wanted to mention on this was well, first the music video for this song is great, and second the Lupe Fiasco verse that comes at the end of this song is also really good. This was Lupe Fiasco's like his first real mainstream contribution.
Gotcha.
And then shortly after that, he released his own solo album, which did really well. But yeah, I mean, just a really good verse. I don't know if you remember any of it, just thinking about it, but just a really impressive string of bars, really.
Yeah.
Just very technical.
Totally agree.
And very good. But yeah, so that's my 7, and then
he actually got oh, sorry, I was just gonna say on the music video note, I think he originally was going to get sued by like the character that he was spoofing in the I forget the guy's name, but he was like a stunt guy that used to like do like I don't really know how to describe him other than that, like a stunt guy, but
like a Daredevil type deal.
Yeah, that's basically who he was. I think his name was like something Daredevil or something.
Yeah.
But that guy was gonna sue Kanye or something. But then him and Kanye met, and like he was such a pleasant young man, like what a nice guy, and then like he like didn't do anything about it. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, I mean that whole era of Kanye was just, it was sick. It just felt like he was having fun, which was nice. But yeah, so tied with Touch the Sky, or I guess interchangeable with it, is another Kanye feature that I wanted to mention, which is from the song called Sanctified by Rick Ross, which you just heard a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, I hadn't listened to it ever before.
Yeah, so I'll read a few lines just to see, or just to kind of set the tone of what this verse is. One of them says, "Lames try to tell me cut the wildin' out," and then he says, "But who the fuck is you reaching?" Love that. And then he says, "God sent me a message, said I'm too aggressive." And he's like, "Really? Me? Too aggressive?" I thought that was funny. So kind of tongue in cheek, but this whole verse, I mean, he's just so aggressive the whole time. Yeah. So give me a minute.
I have to go.
Oh, okay.
Do you need to pause for a minute?
No, you're good.
Okay.
But yeah, so so this verse is just really, I really like it a lot. He's just going in. And again, this was I don't know what year this was. I think this was 2014, I want to say. So kind of a lull in Kanye's discography. So this feature was really, really cool for me. But yeah.
Sick.
So yeah. So my number 6 now.
Yeah.
Number 6, Jesus Walks.
Nice.
Classic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which was like Kanye's first big song. But I mean, I think it really does show like what Kanye was all about, even to this day. And I don't know. I can't really articulate what I like about this song, except I mean the beat is awesome. And it's a Kanye beat. It's always going to be great.
Yeah.
And then of course, I don't know. I'm sure you have more to say about it than I do. I'm just.
It's actually not on my list, but it's another song that just a great classic Kanye song. One of my favorite lines from that song. I'm pretty sure it's from that song. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Kanye, because he's like so prideful of being from Chicago, it's like always cool when he like mentions anything about Chicago. This isn't necessarily just Chicago though. He says, you know what the Midwest is, young and restless.
Yeah.
And I feel like that also like somewhat encapsulates him, and is kind of like who he was early on, you know. And yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
song.
I mean, another cool line I like. He says, "I walk through the valley of the shy, where death is." I was like, "Ooh, that's a little intense."
Yeah.
But yeah, I
think,
mean, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say also I appreciate that the song is like he's singing about I don't remember the lines, but essentially they boil down to like I like people don't want to listen to me rap about like Jesus or something, you know. And it's like still to this day, like he says those things and people appreciate him rapping about those sorts of things. So it's like he really makes whatever he wants to make work, you know.
Yeah, so he says, so here go my, because this was the first single he released, right? So he says, so here go my single dog, radio needs this. They say you can rap about anything except for Jesus. That means guns, sex, lies, videotape. But if I talk about God, my record won't get played, huh?
Yeah.
Like, oh, well. Wow.
I thought his first song was Through the Wire. Maybe that was like his second or third or something though.
Yeah, because I remember this was his breakout single.
Gotcha.
Or, I mean, it was the first piece of music he really dropped.
Gotcha.
But yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, all you, number 6.
All right.
For the
well,
top 5.
my number 6, we already talked about, Flashing Lights.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's another one I I pointed out a lyric. He says, I get a call like, "Where are you, Easy?" And I try to hit you with the Alu Wapti, which is like apparently I was reading, it's like a Chicago like slang for like with bullshit, basically saying. So he's saying like this girl's calling him up like, "Where are you at?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm like doing some bullshit," like he's like making up some excuse, you know. But I like that there's like, even though I've only been to Chicago once in my life, like it doesn't matter that it's just cool that he brings in so much of like where he's from to his music, you know.
Yeah. And then I think one thing I wanted to note about the song that I forgot to, the hook is really good by
absolutely.
As I recall, I know you love to show off, but I never thought you would take it as far. It's just so well done. So yeah, all I wanted to say.
Cool. My number 5 is Two Words, which we listened to shortly before this call.
Wow, top 5.
Yeah. I really love this song. I think it's a great song. I like Mos Def's verse, and then I think Kanye's verse is just like so memorable, and I love the lines. 2 words, Chi-Town raised me crazy, so I live by 2 words. Fuck you, pay me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just like so.
That's a hard bar,
you know. And also, I don't know if you've seen the trailer for the new. There's going to be a documentary about Kanye coming out. Like, I don't know if it's this month or next month or something. But it's just a clip of him like singing that like a cappella, and I don't know. It's really hype. You should watch it.
Yeah, I will have to do that. I didn't even know about this documentary. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I just like that song. It's like a classic hip hop song to me, and I feel like right out the gate he like just came out with so many classic hip hop songs, and that one is just very memorable to me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean it's not one that I listen to frequently. It just kind of will pop up if I'm playing an album or that album, I guess. So honestly, to be honest, never stood out to me. But yeah.
Which is funny because like I think some of the instrumentation is also like really like in the beginning, I don't know what instrument it is, but it's some kind of stringed instrument that like I don't even know what music it's like typically used in. And then there's like a violin solo at the end, and like I don't know, it just sounds really cool. And I don't remember if John Bryan was working with him then or if it wasn't until late registration. But I don't know if you know who John Bryan is. He's
Hmm.
he worked with him on Late Registration, definitely, but
Mhm.
he's like mostly like a movie like soundtrack producer, and
Yeah.
he's like written like some of my favorite soundtracks ever.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've heard of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but he
Yeah.
did music for that, which I thought was like really memorable. He
Mhm.
also works with like some other artists, like he worked with Fiona Apple, who I also really love. Um, and yeah, he's like a really talented multi instrumentalist, but like kind of behind the scenes type guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'd have to look into if he worked on this song or not, but I feel like this song kind of sets the stage for the type of sounds that you hear on Late Registration that are like very wide as far as instrumentals go.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
yeah,
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of my favorite things about this early part of Kanye's career is just like every instrumental is so lush. There's just so
yeah,
much happening, and it all
hmm
works perfectly.
yeah,
So I mean, I would think that that's why a lot of people love his early stuff. But
yeah.
yeah, okay. My number 5 is New Slaves. Um, which you had mentioned you weren't a huge fan of,
Yeah, I'm not a
generally
huge
speaking.
fan of, but
Right. So I like the song for a couple of reasons. I think this is Kanye, in probably the most, maybe not the most, but definitely up there. Definitely like the most aggressive and most passionate I've ever like seen him rap. And so that stuck out to me. And
hmm
that energy is kept up throughout the song until basically the very end.
yeah,
And then the way he's talking about is just so interesting too. Kind of talking about like the racism that like his mother might have faced or that he himself faces and that black people in general face on a daily basis. Is just really interesting to me. And then he kind of ties that into um, again like his own personal experiences within pop culture.
hmm
And I think one thing that stands out to me is, let's see, where is it? It's like, fuck you and your corporation. Y'all can't control me. I know that we the new slaves. I know that we new slaves. I'm about to wild the fuck out. I'm going Bobby Boucher. Um, just crazy. And I think again, it kind of goes back to the Kanye lore, especially in this line where it says, "Y'all throwing contracts at me. Y'all know that and we can't read." He kind of talks about I don't know. I remember around this time there was like a whole dispute going on with like Yeezy, like a shoe brand that he had,
hmm
and like Nike and the contracts that he had
yeah,
with them, and like switching over to Adidas and stuff like that. So I'm sure
yeah,
that was kind of playing in his mind, and he didn't really feel valued,
yeah,
generally speaking, while he was at Nike. So that was kind of an interesting little piece of it for me as well.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Definitely for like his whole like uh I don't know, I guess beginning of entering the world of like fashion and stuff. Like I
yeah.
feel like a lot of the lyrics on Yeezus uh are about that, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you're into that like era of Kanye, that's like
Yeah.
something that you'll like in those lyrics from that album.
Yeah, and
But
I have to make note of my favorite set of lines, where he says they probably all in the Hamptons bragging about what they made. Fuck you in your Hampton house. I'll fuck your Hampton spouse. Came on in Hampton blouse and in her Hampton mouth. That shit is so hard, bro. I've never heard anything like that. That's amazing. But anyways, yeah. What's your 5?
um oh,
Or if
I
you
was
have
gonna say,
anything else to say, please.
yeah, I was gonna say one last thing. My oh, I was gonna say that I really do like the end of the song of
Mm-hmm.
New Slaves when like the guitars come in and like it just sounds like very it's like it's ascended to a new
Yeah,
level or something, you know? It sounds really cool. I like that.
that's cool.
Um I think actually you are up with number 4.
I think we should just go back and forth with our.
All right.
Yeah.
With our top 5, yeah.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Devil in a New Dress.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
I like that song a lot. I feel like it's something about it just kind of feels like eternal.
Yeah.
Like something about the the guitars in it and like the sampled drums. I'm guessing it's sampled drums. And also just like the like chorus that he repeats, put your hands to the constellations, the way you look should be a sin, you're my sensation. Like, I don't know, something about that is just like very memorable. And classic Kanye. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you know, would be wrong to go without mentioning Rick Ross's verse, which is
He's
by
great
far one of the best verses of his career, if not the best. And there's a guitar solo in this song, which I really like too. I mean, it's Mike Dean on the guitar. You know, it's not gonna be. I mean, you know what's gonna happen, right? But yeah, no, this is a great song, and I was in and out with the song. I switched it with different songs so many times. It did not make the list actually, but it is a song I really enjoy listening to.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. What are we on? Are we on 4?
You're
My
on
4
now.
My 4 is Heard 'Em Say.
Okay, nice.
I absolutely love this song.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's just something so like pure about it.
Yeah.
Like simple. And I don't know. Honestly, I don't have a lot to say. I mean, Kanye's, telling his story as he always does in this kind of era of Kanye, and then it just sounds amazing. It's just so nice. And then honestly, Adam Levine does a great job.
He does a really good job, definitely.
Yeah.
I also like, of course, the skit that leads into it of like "Wake Up, Mr. West," which like comes back in his music later on. And another thing, that song was definitely produced by John Bryan. And actually, at the very end of the song, there's a sample of a Fiona Apple song. I think it's the song "Criminal." But yeah, it sounds cool. I just like the way that song comes together, and it's a really nice, bright opener to the album.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just a very like positive and uplifting song. Which is like, honestly, the feeling of the song and what Kanye's saying are probably at odds a little bit, but just a great song. A lot of fun to listen to. So yeah, your 4.
Yeah. I did my 4, but my
3
is Power, which we already talked about.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said earlier, I feel like if you don't like this song, you're not gonna like Kanye.
Yeah.
And it's also like one of the most rock like influenced songs by him, and like just all around. Definitely. You could give praise all day, I think.
Yeah, for real. My number 3 is Slow Jams.
Okay.
Oh my god. I mean, this honestly, I was debating putting number 1 because it's just perfect. Like everything about it is perfect to me. The chorus is so good. The verse by Twista is incredible, where he's just rapping as fast as possible.
So fast,
It's so good. Kanye's little lead-in into Twista's verse, I thought was really funny. I don't know, just a fun song to listen to. And the instrumentation, just the production in general is top notch as per usual. Yeah. So just a fun song.
Yeah. Also, that's Jamie Foxx, right? Who's singing? Yeah. His like lead up, like introduction to the song is really good too. And this song is not on my list, but it's one of my favorites definitely still, even though it didn't make the list. And it has probably my favorite Kanye line, the Michael Jackson line. It's just so great. And it's a really memorable chorus, and it's another thing that's like just another moment where it's like that Kanye knows really good music, because he's like referencing all these like great like R&B singers that maybe if not for a song like this, people wouldn't be introduced to singers like Luther Vandross or someone, And something I realized about
this song that I didn't know until I looked at the Genius page for it. The woman who's talking in the song is Aisha
Mhm.
Tyler. I don't know if you know her, but she's an
That name
actress.
sounds so familiar.
She hosted like Whose Line Is It Anyway, and she does a voice character in Archer, which is one of my favorite shows.
Okay.
So I just thought
Yeah.
that was kind of neat that she was the voice there. But
Is she in like anything else?
she's
like,
also
Kanye related?
she's also in Criminal Minds
Oh, okay.
and CSI and Friends somehow. Okay, weird. But yeah, so I just thought that was neat. But yeah, you're number 2.
My number 2 is No More Parties in LA.
Of course.
Yeah. I really love this song. I feel like the whole song like feels like a movie. Like it's so long and like epic, and I don't know, it just like like both him and Kendrick are like going off, and I really love Kendrick, so like it's cool having that collab there. And as much as I like Kendrick, like I feel like Kanye's verse is just like 10 times better than his on the song too. And I feel like also like I like the like contained like story that's within the life of Pablo, and like he has the line like, "Hey baby, you forgot your Ray-Bans and my sheets still orange from your spray tan." Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a really fun song, and like I'm like laughing at times, and like at other times I'm like, holy shit, that was so good. And like also like the very end of the song where he's like I'm gonna mess up the line, but he's like and to all my real friends, yeah, something he says to all my real friends something, and he's like, even the one that stole my laptop, you dirty motherfucker. And then it just cuts to the sample. Yeah, that song, it's incredible. I feel like I just have so much fun listening to that song every time.
Yeah, if I found the line, it says, and as far as real friends, tell all my cousins I love them, even the one that stole my laptop, you dirty motherfucker.
Just the other like contained story of the cousin who stole his laptop is just so funny.
Yeah.
But
no, this is a good song. This is, I mean, of this, I don't like this album that much, as you know, but this is one of the songs that I will occasionally come back to. I feel like now I know what your number 1 song is going to be.
Really?
Yeah. But we'll get to that when we get to it.
I think you're wrong, but we'll see.
All right, we'll see.
You're up to 2?
I'm at 2. This was the first song I ranked. And it was Diamonds from Sierra Leone, the remix.
Okay. Yeah. That like just missed my list.
Yeah. This is an all-time great remix. Probably one of the best remixes ever. This song is amazing. The sample, I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Let me see if I can find it.
I think it's the theme song from the James Bond movie Diamonds Are Forever.
Is it really?
I think so.
Oh yes, from the 1971 Bond film Diamonds Are Forever. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I mean, an amazing sample, and I mean just Kanye and Jay-Z going back and forth, and then Jay-Z giving a crazy verse. Just so much fun to listen to every time I listen to it. So again, I don't need to say too much about it, but
no, that's absolutely a great song. Even the original is good, but the remix is better, I think, you know? And good stuff for sure.
All right. What's the 1, Tate? What's the number 1?
So, yeah, what did you, let me hear what you thought my number 1 was.
I thought it was going to be St. Pablo.
No.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It almost made my list. I really like St. Pablo. It's a good song. One of his best verses in general. But I feel like the song that I did choose is like much more fun song and much more recognizable, and just Kanye at his best. I chose All Falls Down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I went to a concert 2 or 3. It must have been 3 years ago, 4 years ago. God, COVID has messed me up. It was a Nas and Mary J. Blige concert,
Yeah, I
which
remember.
was that was a cool concert. But in between sets or maybe before sets, they were just how they like usually at concerts
Play
play
music.
like random music. All Falls Down like plays. The entire stadium is singing this song. It's not even like a Kanye like
Yeah,
concert,
yeah.
but like it just shows you how appreciated he is and this song is within like the like community of hip hop fans, and even R&B fans. Um, and yeah, I feel like he's also like talking about things that like as far as like American consumerism and capitalism goes, like he talks about like pretty heavy topics that also describe like kind of who he is and who he becomes and like who he's not afraid to say he's probably going to become too, like being this like person who, like he says, everybody's self-conscious. I'm just the first to admit it or something like that. And he like always has to have like one of his watches on or something like that. But
Yeah.
the whole song is just, I think it's a really good analysis of like why people are interested in buying things and like buying consumer things and buying like clothes and status and things like that. And it's all the while like a great song and just fun to listen to.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think
There's
my favorite. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's a great performance of him online. I think it was on like some TV show doing like a live performance of the song, and it's I don't know, it's just so hype seeing him sing it.
Yeah.
It's messing up too, but
Okay.
of course this happens on the last song.
Yeah, right.
But we'll do some cutting. But you were saying, I think you were saying the "fuck the police." That's how I treat them. Line.
Yeah, fuck the police. That's how I treat them. We buy our way out of jail, but we can't buy freedom. There's just a lot in that line, which I really like. And then he also says, there's another line I like. But I ain't even gonna act holier than thou, cause fuck it, I went to Jacob with 25 thou.
Yeah.
Or I had a house and I'd do it again, cause I want to be on 106 and Park pushing a Benz. 106 and Park. I don't know if you know anything about 106 and Park. TV show on BET, which is like Black Entertainment TV or television channel. That show was basically like MTV, but for like rappers, basically. Okay. So like if you made it to 106 and Park, that was like you made it for real.
Gotcha.
So like Drake, when he had his first breakout song, before he released any albums, he was on 106 and Park with Trey Songz. So I thought that was a cool line. And I guess kind of ages the song a little bit, just because you get the reference. But
right.
Yeah, no, great song, really fun to listen to. And yeah, the chorus is awesome. Selena Johnson.
Yeah, totally. Who returns for Donda chant?
Yeah. That's a whole other thing too. I'm gonna blow your mind here.
Yeah, I'm excited to. I have no idea what your number one is.
You don't have a guess?
All of the Lights, maybe. I don't know.
It is Blood on the Leaves.
Oh wow, okay. We were just listening to.
And I have zero justification for it other than it sounds awesome and I love it. The horns.
It is a really unique song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sample at the beginning is so good. Just kind of reels you in and keeps you, like, if you first heard it, you're like, what am I listening to?
Yeah.
And then you kind of hear like Kanye building up into this like epic, just like horns blaring, just like your sensory overload. And yeah, I mean the production on it is incredible. And then like all of the like throughout the song, all of his verses, production's very quiet, and it's just kind of like Kanye talking, and then it just like flips a switch, just like automatically.
Yeah.
And and I really like that. And I've listened to this song hundreds of times, and I've never gotten sick of it. And honestly, there's just no other song like it that I've heard of. So
It's funny because I haven't started to appreciate the song until recently, really. I used to always like not really find it very catchy or like not really enjoy it, but more recently I've been listening to it and like appreciating it more for how unique it is. I like the piano parts, like where it's just kind of silent, and then it is like it's very erratic, and like it just jumps into the like very heavy like industrial sounding horn sections. Yeah, it's also another song that feels very epic with how long it is, and like, you know, similar to how I said like No More Parties in LA feels like a movie, like Blood on the Leaves kind of feels like a movie too. So even though it's not like one of my favorite songs, it's definitely like I see the appeal to it. It's a really good song. And that sample is so interesting. Lately, like Muriel, my girlfriend, and I, like when we'll be talking, like sometimes we'll say something like strange, like we'll just say like something is strange, we'll just be like, oh, strange, and like immediately that song just starts playing in my head, and I'm like,
that's great.
I don't know if you know who David Lynch is. He's like a surrealist movie director. You probably heard of the show Twin Peaks.
Yes.
So he made that show, and he's made a lot of other TV shows and movies, or not TV shows, movies. And they're all like really out there, but very artistic. But he said something like he thought this song was a masterpiece, and he wanted to direct the music video for it, which I think would have been so cool if he did that. But I guess the plans fell through. I don't know that it happened, but that would have been really cool.
Yeah, that would have been. I mean, it's just it's so epic and feels like cinematic, just the way that it just like wraps around you. I don't know. I'm a big fan, but so that's my number one.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that as your number one.
That's what I figured. But I mean, if I want to hear a Kanye song, that's probably the first thing I'd put on.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like, you know, like I said to you, like a lot of the songs in this list, the ranking can be anything. You could switch them all around depending on the day. They're all great songs, and there are a lot of songs that I wish I had put on there.
Yeah.
Or I wish I
have a whole like up to 29 I listed songs.
Yeah. I mean, do you wanna mention some honorable mentions?
I've got some honorable mentions. I mean, some of them I've mentioned, like Only One, St. Pablo you mentioned. But Reborn from Kids See Ghosts I think is really great. And from Donda, Pure Souls is really great too. I love Roddy Ricch. And that whole song is really good. I've mentioned On Site. I think Real Friends is a great song. I think Love Lockdown is a good song. Good Life is a good song. We Major is a good song. Dark Fantasy is a sick opening.
Yes.
I don't know. I could keep going. But...
Yeah. I totally feel that. Yeah, for me, Through the Wire was one I really wanted to put on here. Just kidding. Again, more Kanye lore. Just being able to make as good as a song as he did with his literally his jaw wired shut. That's pretty sick. No Church in the Wild off Watch the Throne, Otis as well was something that was close. Drunken Hot Girls, barely missed it here. I really wanted to put it in
I'm
here.
surprised it wasn't number one.
I tried so hard. And then White Dress, which is kind of an interesting one because it was off a movie soundtrack.
Right.
And then Off the Grid, off Donda. I love the Playboy Cardi verse in that song. 5Yo Foreign goes crazy on that song, just spitting bar after bar after bar. And of course Kanye does his thing, but I mean, Welcome to Heartbreak was another one that I really wanted to put on there. But yeah, I mean, I think that just about wraps it up.
Yeah.
To be honest.
There's so much that could be said about Kanye, but
Yeah, I'm sure we'll end up doing another Kanye episode, whether it's ranking his albums or some other whenever Kanye releases a new album. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's pretty crazy just to think like I do think it's really true that he is like the Beatles of our time, you know, like he has been the most consistently in the public eye as like a musician, whether that be just through his music purely, which like he's constantly releasing music that is like relevant to, you know, the popular mainstream, but also critically acclaimed. And also just like he's like a marketing genius too. He's like able to really like garner a lot of attention for his albums, whether it's just, you know, it's questionable sometimes whether it's through the best manners, but like he knows how to do it. And he's released some of my favorite music of all time. And it's funny because like originally, you know, I wasn't like a huge hip hop fan growing up, and now to think that like Kanye West is like one of my favorite artists of all time is like pretty funny to think. But it's because he really has that ability to cross over, and he knows so much about music too, and knows how to tie things together and really just make interesting, cohesive music that a lot of people can enjoy, even with how abrasive he is, you know.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I think another thing that's cool to think about when it comes to Kanye is just how long he's been doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, his first album was 18 years ago.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So, I mean, how many? The only other, I mean, I'm sure there's others, but I mean, the only guy I can think of that was that good for that long was Jay-Z, and he hasn't released anything in 5 years. So,
yeah,
you know, it just kind of, not that Jay-Z needs to release anything. He's sitting on a mountain of money, but still, yeah, just really impressive that he's able to be so, I'll say relatively consistent, because there was that little.
Yeah, I mean, especially like lately, it's, you know, he probably has had his peak, but like he loves making music, and like that's his thing. And like I don't know, I feel like in a way, in like a weird way, he is like similar to Paul McCartney in that way, because like Paul McCartney was like one of the, you know, more recognizable Beatles. And but he continues to make music to this day, Paul McCartney, and he's like, I think in his 70s, if not 80s, I think 70s. But yeah, continues to make music. He's made music with Kanye West actually.
Yes.
And he's just, you know, he does it because he loves it, and like I have a feeling that's what Kanye will continue to do too, even if it's, you know, if there's peaks and valleys. From here on out, he's already had classic albums and classic music that's fantastic. So,
100%. Yeah, I mean, like you said, we could talk about Kanye forever, but
yeah,
we'll wrap it up there. And yeah, thanks for listening, whoever's listening. And we'll be back with something new for you pretty soon.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Peace out.